Fans were left completely astonished by a recent sighting of Chrisean Rock the Bold, a headline-grabbing celebrity who is notorious for never backing down, dropping surprises, or flipping the tables. This wasn't just another argument, split, or angry rant on social media. She was on a blind date instead, and the enthusiasm she exuded was unlike anything we've ever seen in her. She made an unusually exposed entrance, according to onlookers. Chrissy was dressed stylishly and held a glass of wine as if it were her anchor, yet there was no drama or entourage. The normally confident and strong figure appeared clearly uneasy, constantly adjusting her hair, biting her lip whenever her enigmatic companion leaned close to speak, and stealing worried looks around the room. This was by no means an understated incident. Chrissy was immediately recognized by everyone in the restaurant, and they all pulled out their phones. Minutes later, snippets of the scene, fans who were first to detect something unusual flooded social media. She appeared truly joyful, not frenzied or irate, just subtly pleased. It was a side of Chrissy that we don't often look for. Remarkably calm and soft. Was this just a rare look at her compassionate side, though? Or was there more going on behind that glass of wine? Her date's identity and their conversation were what really shocked me. Understanding Chrissy's recent thoughts is essential to understanding why this blind date is creating such a fuss. For months, her career, friendships, and love life have been an unrelenting whirlwind. When it comes to relationships, Chrissy has never been one to hold back or keep things cool. Just her story with Blueface has made news on social media, in hip-hop, and on reality TV.media, incorporating her personal life into her narrative just as much as her musical career. These days, gossip is a flurry of public arguments. Instagram. Lifestyles that are emotional. Quick reconciliations that leave everyone rushing to keep up, followed by breakups that seem to happen and then vanish in an instant. She effortlessly steals the show wherever she goes, especially when you combine her fiery personality with her unexpected energy. The Chrisean we see online, however, feels different these days. The tumultuous live feeds and dramatic headlines are no longer present. There has been a discernible change in favor of more private outings that she decides not to share. Quieter times, self-care, and frequent gym visits. Fans were therefore caught off guard when word leaked out about her previous blind date. According to reports, the rendezvous took place at a small, hidden wine bar in the city, which is very different from Chrisean's typical scene of large crowds and brilliant lights. Imagine candlelight tables, quiet jazz playing in the background, and dim lighting. According to witnesses, Chrisean arrived around 15 minutes ahead of her unidentified friend, wearing a slim-fitting black dress, gold hoops for earrings, and a radiant, clean face with little makeup. But it wasn't just her appearance that drew attention, it was the way she acted. She appeared visibly apprehensive for someone used to, energizing millions of people with audacious, boisterous energy. As though trying to control her enthusiasm, she sipped her wine cautiously, fidgeted with her handbag, looked around the room anxiously. Then, when her date showed up, something changed. Her face lit up with a real, understated light instead of the theatrical, ostentatious smile that fans are accustomed to. The man, whose name is yet unknown, gave her a cordial greeting with Faye, shook hands, and instantly fell into a conversation that seemed natural. More like old friends getting back together than strangers meeting for the first time. But when some neighboring customers overheard snippets of their conversation, the true intrigue began. It wasn't the usual casual conversation at the surface level. They talked about their families, reminisced about their early years, and even shared their future aspirations. Typically, Chriseans use rapid fire. Loud's voice grew softer, more measured, and more deliberate. She even leaned across the table to touch his hand at one point. A moment so spontaneous and private that it felt very different from her typical public presence. She laughed quietly at something he said. This peaceful evening swiftly became a popular sight on social media, as was to be expected. Fans flocked to TikTok within an hour of the initial clip's release, breaking into every aspect in the comments section. They said she was acting differently. Is this growth? Her camera smile doesn't feel like that. You can tell this is serious if she's drinking wine rather than Casamago. The rumor mill, of course, went into overdrive. It was the purpose of this data migration to incite jealousy. A hint that she's moved on, or merely a playful test with a new person. Whatever the reality, there is one aspect of the new Chrisean mood that has everyone on edge, wondering whether this is the start of something new. This is the unexpected turn of events. It was revealed to a gossip website by a source close to Chrisean that this was no ordinary blind date. Their insider said that Chrisean is entering a new stage of her life when she will be more selective about who she allows into her inner circle. They say that this date was thoughtfully planned by a mutual friend in whom she truly has faith, someone who is totally outside the typical entertainment bubble. So, Chrisean wasn't after social, media influence, or viral celebrity. She was truly interested in dating someone from a distant planet. A new chapter that may mark a significant shift in her romantic life and perhaps even her public persona. Speculations started among fans. Is this the beginning of a more subdued, realistic Chrisean? The story was developing just as it appeared to be a sweet, subtle one. The silence was broken by something unexpected. The diners started whispering to each other. Mid-step, the waiters paused. Someone typed a message in a rage. The buzz. You won't believe the person who just entered. The ambiance in the wine bar was comfortable and laid back. Chrisean, obviously at ease with her companion, leaned forward and laughed softly. The other customers had resorted to sidelong glances and whispered discussions, and the staff was allowing her space. Then there was silence when the front door opened. Everyone saw it right away. Neither Blueface nor a cunning fan attempting to take a selfie was involved. No, it was someone far stranger, someone from Chrisean's recent history. Someone who shouldn't have been there that evening. It was a close ally of Blueface's. A man who was heavily involved in several of Chrisean and Blueface's most widely shared altercations from the previous year. You are familiar with the kind if you have been following the saga. During disputes, the friend who unintentionally went live shared mysterious Instagram stories to fuel drama and, according to many fans, maintained the two parties' ongoing hostility. And now, when Chrisean was on this date, he was entering that wine bar. Witnesses said that her entire energy changed the instant she saw him. Her hand, still holding her wine glass, tightened before she carefully put it down, and her smile stopped mid-lap. Between her and the newcomer, the mystery date looked. The friend didn't require two, but he didn't rush over after seeing the abrupt change in the atmosphere of the place. He went to the bar, got a drink, and sat down, facing Chrisean's table, because it was a tiny room and his presence alone was loud enough. From time to time, he looked over quietly, not in amusement or rage. Do you know him? The mystery date murmured, leaning in. A diner nearby heard Chrisean nod briefly and add, "Yeah, it's complicated." After that, things became awkward. Shortly after, a friend took out a phone and, as was to be expected, went live on Instagram. Everyone knew this was far from ended, but at first it appeared to be harmless fun. Sharp-eyed admirers watching live soon saw something more as he casually held up his glass while talking into the camera. Chrisean was captured in the background thanks to the phone's ideal framing. The live chat quickly became overflowing with inquiries. Is that a Chrisean? With whom is she? This was going to go out of control. One could feel the tension in the room. Chrisean's body language revealed that she had her arms crossed, despite her best efforts to be involved with her date. Clearly uneasy, he leaned slightly out of sight of the phone. Her companion made an effort to lighten the mood by making jokes and posing tactful queries, but there was no denying that the mood had changed. Then something unexpected occurred. Someone shouted, "Yo, Christian, are you good?" Loud enough for everyone to hear halfway through the stream, and everyone's attention snapped to the voice. Christian laid the glass down with a stiff smile and took a careful sip of her wine as the mystery date froze. "I'm great. It's better than ever, actually," she said in a composed but obviously reserved tone. There was a momentary silence in the room before the friend shook his head, laughed quietly, and returned to his phone. However, the harm had already been done. The brightness of a public spotlight had displaced the evening's personal atmosphere. Everyone. And the wine bar was now observing, anticipating what would happen next. Christian firmly shook her head as her guy leaned in again and asked if she wanted to go. She doesn't back down when faced with a task, that's for sure. It was more than a date in that instant. The anxiety was far from gone, but it turned into a test of resolve and poise. When the Friends live stream reached over 5,000 watchers, a shocking comment surfaced in the discussion. "This is already being watched by Blueface." Once again, the atmosphere in the wine bar changed. Many rushed to check Instagram in hopes of finding some evidence that the rumor was real. You could practically feel every phone buzzing. What had started out as a small private meeting was transformed into a major public event by that one simple remark. At one point, the subtle clinking of glasses and quiet murmuring filled the room. Immediately, a new type of electricity buzzed through it. The kind of feeling you get when you know someone strong and unpredictable is looking. All at once, everyone was there. There was a lot of anxiety and excitement among the thousands of people watching online. I wondered how Christian would react if Blueface was actually monitoring the incident. The drama that had been simmering all evening was just beginning to explode. And the stakes had risen to an unprecedented level. Blueface's own Instagram story emerged as soon as the comment was posted, causing a stir on social media. Despite being simple, the post was packed with meaning. Anyone following the tale could clearly see the message, which was displayed on a stark black screen with just 3 emojis, no words and no direct allusions. As viewers of the live stream started tagging, fans rushed to take screenshots, sharing and analyzing the mysterious post right away. Blue is pleading with him to appear or go live with a friend who is filming the action from the bar. A flurry of enthusiasm and nervousness erupted in the comment area. While half of the audience warned Blueface against creating waves that could get out of hand, the other half begged him to burst into the scene and shake things up in anticipation of the inevitable pyrotechnics. The bar was no longer the only place where tension existed. The stakes were raised, and a private evening turned into a public battle as it spilled into the digital realm. The pressure on all parties, particularly Christian, whose every action was now being watched closely, increased as the gossip got louder. What started out as a quiet, optimistic night out quickly turned into a high-stakes game of social media warfare, public perception, and real-time testing of personal boundaries. The drama that was developing captivated the group. Both fans and critics were excited to see how the players would handle the intense environment that was suddenly surrounding them. This was no longer only a blind date narrative. Every comment, emoji, and response occupied a place in the dynamic story that was unfolding. The ability to alter alliances, start a war, or even alter the plot of the story. And one thing was certain as the night grew darker. The world was waiting impatiently to see how the drama would play out. Back at Christian's table, the tension was palpable, the intensity nearly oppressive. Her date was obviously uncomfortable and not used to being the center of attention. "Do you want to get out of here?" I leaned closer and whispered gently. But Christian's response was a determined headshake, with her jaw clenched and her face flashing the steely look she had seen before. Her admirers recognized the distinctive appearance of someone right away, refusing to give up any triumph or contentment to the drama that was going on all around her. The night then abruptly changed from awkward to explosive, and Blueface wasn't satisfied with remaining quiet. He put down the gauntlet without wasting a single second when he went live on Instagram. Not with his pal at the pub, but from what seemed like the confines of his car. With a voice full of challenge and apparent swagger, he remarked, "I hear someone's out sipping wine tonight." What started out as a private, intimate date swiftly turned into a live public spectacle broadcast to an audience captivated by the tension that was developing. Meanwhile, inside the bar, the friend who had been there the entire evening smiled knowingly, tilting his phone to perfectly frame Chrisean's table in front of thousands of viewers watching online. The space felt electrified, the stakes rising, as thousands of people watched, observing every action, every look, and every word spoken under the intense scrutiny of real-time monitoring. All of a sudden, Chrisean's peaceful evening had become more than just a chance to get to know someone. It was a high-stakes performance in which every action was scrutinized and every second was weighed against both individual fortitude and public expectations. This was no longer only a date. In front of a drama-hungry public, it was a clash of wills. And Chrisean's determination to back down only made it more intense. The events of the night demonstrated how icily intimate moments can turn into viral phenomena and how it takes a powerful blend of fortitude, poise, and tenacity to walk that delicate line between one's private life and public spectacle. Thing was evident as thousands watched. Chrisean wasn't meant to falter or back down. She was prepared to tolerate her the ground. Regardless of the intensity of the limelight, Gokums quickly flooded in. "Oh, but she looks good. This is going to crash blue. That man had better be prepared." At first, Chrisean made an effort to remain .com/drinking wine and conversing with her date as though no one on the internet was watching her every action. However, she turned in her seat and locked eyes with the phone that was recording her as Blueface's voice grew louder and more menacing. "Better hope you don't get too comfortable over there. Are you all really doing this? It's my night. I'm chilling. I'm happy. Y'all want to make it about drama?" "Nah, not tonight," she said, turning to face the camera. Her statement sparked cheers for her confidence as well as support for Blueface's territorial stance. In the middle of the conversation, Blueface dropped a bombshell. "Ask her about last week. Ask her where she was." The bar fell silent and the friend laughed into his phone, enjoying the chaos. Chrisean's date appeared confused, looking from her to the cameras as though she had just been cast into a reality show, which she actually had. But Chrisean doesn't back down when cornered. She fired back right away. "Last week, I was minding my business. Something you should try." Then the night took an even wilder turn as the friend continued to stream. And the viewer count soared past 10,000. Wore a hoodie. Pulled the hood back to reveal their face and the room froze. It wasn't Blueface or a random fan. Long thought. Out of the picture. They scanned the room, their eyes locked on Chrisean, and they started moving toward her table without hesitation. The live chat exploded. "Oh, it's about to go down. It's just turned into a love triangle. Blueface's head is about to explode." The date, the live stream, and the friend's antics vanished into the background. And everyone's attention was now focused on the approaching figure and the impending storm. The atmosphere inside the wine bar changed visibly the moment. The enigmatic figure from Chrisean's past began to close the distance to her table. What had been a cozy private space, a place of low lighting, whispered chatter, and clinking glasses, suddenly crackled with an electric tension that no one could ignore. The friend behind the bar, who was still live streaming on Instagram, didn't miss a beat. His camera lens locking in on every deliberate step the man took, capturing the rising drama in real time for thousands of eager viewers. Meanwhile, Blueface's own live stream audience went into a frenzy, their comments flooding the screen with a mix of anticipation, taunts, and passionate calls for him to step in or respond to the scene, each new message echoing the growing excitement. And Dreda's fans wondered if Blueface would show up, escalate the confrontation, or just watch from the sidelines.